Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, first of all, this message is for the chosen seed, but it's more catered and directed to those beings who have really psyched themselves up into thinking that this journey was one that they were truly prepared to conquer and to stay committed to. I've spoken on this a few times before, and I feel the strong need. I've been called to reiterate and to bring this message home yet again. This path is not for everybody. I repeat, this path is not for everybody. You know, being on this side of the fence where I'm doing spiritual work, spiritual advising, I've spoken to thousands of people. And for the most part, those of you who have consulted with me at particular times in your journey, you were most certainly guided to take that path. You was ready for that path, and you are truly committed to the path. It's very clear. It comes through in the energy very, very clearly. But then there's a select few who want to rush in full speed ahead, haven't truly done any of the work, knowing that this thing requires multiple dark nights of the soul, lots of shadow work, lots of unveiling, lots of, many layers to pull back, okay? Not just one or two, but many layers that need to be shed. So this is not an overnight thing. You don't just get on the path and then suddenly take a shortcut and voila, you've made it. And I'm finding that those beings who have psyched themselves out to believe that they can bypass doing the spiritual work, bypass clearing their karma, bypass becoming the better version of themselves, and to just put on a mask, put on a fasana, learn the language, wear particular things, buy a few crystals, and voila, bam, I'm in there, right? VIP status. These beings have it completely confused because, see, what happens is when you get on a path that was not created for you, or a path that you are not ready to take, you get to a particular phase in that journey where a lot of confusion begins to take place. You know why? Because your GPS, your spiritual navigation system, will fail you every time. Like I said, I'm talking to those people in the back. Your spiritual navigation system will fail you every time when you get on a path that you are not prepared to stay committed to. So what happens when your spiritual navigation fails? Or you start to get confused. You ever been driving before and you have on your GPS and that robot is like, turn left. Then out of nowhere, she's like, turn right, make a U-turn. In 3 blocks, turn left. In 2 seconds, turn right. Make a U-turn. And you're like, hold the hell up. What is really going on? Don't let it happen when you're in an area where you don't know where the hell you at. You don't know what turn to take, but you're solely relying on this faulty GPS that's clearly confused, right? All over the place. That's what happens to someone who gets on a path and runs full speed ahead without first doing the work. And that confusion bleeds out in many ways, especially when you have a particular being who says, well, I have a spiritual calling, right? They give themselves this position. You'll know the difference between someone who the Most High literally crowned them with that particular position versus someone who says, oh, this is trending. Let me jump on this. Oh, I could do that. Let me jump in on that. It's some money to be made. It's some, let me get out here. I want people to know me, XYZ. They've learned a language, right? They've learned a little bit about alchemy. They've learned how to speak and how to draw in a crowd, but behind the scenes have done little to no work. What happens to that particular being is that not only is their spiritual navigation off, but everybody who is riding on this path with them, right? Because see, this particular being is all about numbers. These types of people is all about numbers. They're all about clout. They're all about, staying on the top and making sure that all eyes are on them. So when their spiritual navigation system begins to really become faulty on them, they also begin to mislead those who are on that path with them. A whole lot it becomes very confused. A lot of people get involved in that confusion. Okay. This is something that needs to be addressed because those same beings that get to that place where their spiritual navigation system begins to fail them, they start to look at the ones who are on the journey, who are continuing to persist and persevere down this journey. And now it becomes a competition. Now it becomes a race. Now you become their enemy, Chosen. They start to feel like you're cheating. You must be doing something wrong. You must have stolen some of their gas. You must have stolen some of their juice. You must have stolen some of their XYZ, because there's no way that you're continuing to persevere. There's no way that you're continuing to thrive. And suddenly they're starting to slow down, or suddenly they're starting to have mental anguish or emotional turmoil or financial setbacks. But yet, how you still going, Chosen? This is when we begin to see the separation between the wheat and the tare. This is when you start to see those who were truly chosen for the path versus those who decided to jump on the bandwagon because it was trending. There's nothing trending about being a chosen seed. Being a chosen seed is not an easy assignment. This is not cakewalk. Okay. This is not, yes, there are beautiful things that comes with this journey. There are beautiful things that comes with being chosen, for sure. But this comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of upheaval, opposition, like spiritual warfare. Okay. Taking what seems like losses, starting all over again, shedding layers that you probably wasn't ready to shed, but the Most High said you got to do it, so you push through it and you do it anyway. This is not all peaches and cream like people want to make it out to believe, or to seem, but they feel that, let me see, I'll put it this way. A true chosen seed, I'm going to say this for most chosen seeds. You are a beacon of light, and you receive assignments that if the ego is too inflated, if you have an unhealthy ego, you will not take on that assignment, right? You will not take on particular assignments if you carry an unhealthy ego. That is one of the first things that must be shed in order to take on the assignment of being a beacon of light. Why? Because usually your reward is dependent on you allowing the world to see you at your lowest point. But even at your lowest point, you come forward with those spiritual downloads. You come forward with that spiritual wisdom. You come forward with those inspiring messages. You still give yourself permission to be the vessel. And that requires, again, transparency, authenticity, and releasing the fear of judgment by others. Because usually during that time when the Most High says it's time for you to speak, it's time for you to step forward, it's time for you to bring your testimony, you looking around like, well, hold up. I don't even really have anything, what am I supposed to testify about? I don't have any material things to show that I've overcome and that I've been able to, obtain victory after the storm. I don't have anything to show for this. But that's what the Most High says. No, I don't want you to show none of that. I want you to show that you're sitting in your car right now. I want to show that you're living in a shelter right now. I want you to show that you're sleeping on your family's couch right now. I want you to show that you are living in a hotel room. Yeah, I want you to show yourself at what most people in the world will deem to be your lowest point. Show that. Get naked. Strip down bare and let people see you in your most vulnerable position. Because from that moment, the Most High is able to say, job well done. You have shown me that this is not about your appearance. This is not about your ego. This is not about pleasing the people. This is about you valuing the journey and recognizing that this thing is far greater than you. And remembering that there's going to be a lot of people out there who are still trying to, they're crawling on their hands and knees, just needing that word of encouragement, needing that salve for healing to just give them that push. They need that light, that guide, that direction to remind them that they are not in this by themselves. You are the one that comes forward. When the world, those who are in their carnal mind will look at you and say, damn, I don't even know why they're coming out here like that. But these are people who are in their ego. These are the karmics who don't have an appreciation for the journey, who don't understand the full picture. They don't see the bigger picture. They don't understand the transformation that's happening for you in that moment when you are bearing all and in your most vulnerable state. They don't understand the beautiful things that the Most High promised you. And that you're moving off of that promise. You're moving off of the promise of peace, the promise of happiness, the promise of being able to push forward through the storm, the promise of healing. They don't recognize the things that you recognize. They don't see what you see. But it's the true chosen seed that recognizes another chosen seed. And it is something that you will know it when you see it. The energy is a very, very clear energy. You will know a true chosen seed when you see one. It's those beings that feel like, okay, yeah, I got to be all shined up. I got to be glossy. You see what I'm saying? I got to be able to show the material things. I got to be able to flex. I got to be able to XYZ. You want to question those beings who hid themselves and who hide the truth of what their journey really looked like before they was able to obtain a certain amount of material abundance. You want to question those beings, okay? This journey is not for everybody. And a lot of times it's not meant for certain people to get on the path just yet. You see what I'm saying? You could very well be a chosen seed and not be walking the path just yet. You might just be meant to sit back and just observe the beacon of lights that have been called to bring their testimony forward and to show you how to navigate through the storms. It might just be time for observation. It might just be time to just be a pupil, to just sit down and learn. You may not be prepared to get up and to start taking the journey. And that's okay. But what is not okay is when you have these beings who get on a path because, again, they think it's trending. They think it's cute. They think it's lucrative. Okay? It's going to give them some relevance to the world. No, you are so easily pointed out and plucked up from amongst the chosen seed. You stand out like a sore thumb. And then what really makes them look bad is when they start going up against the true chosen seed and making false accusations to say, well, that one over there, they say that they're this, but they're not really that. Hold up. What speaks for the true chosen seed is that blueprint, that energetic signature that's been set in stone. Backtrack. Look at the history of that particular person. Did they come forward and offer the bare minimum, just the surface things, right? Did they just come forward bumping their gums, regurgitating what they heard from other people? Did they come forward in that manner, or did they come forward bare, naked, bringing forth truths that most people would be ashamed to even speak on openly, let alone in secret? You will know a true chosen seed when you see one. It's going to be a lot of people that will be surrounding this pathway thinking that they can just blend in. Oh, you can't just blend in. The Most High recognizes their children. The Most High Mother and Father recognizes their children because it is not the physical appearance that gives you the stamp of approval. It is the energy that exudes from within your soul. This is on a soul level that you get identified. But see, people are so accustomed to fooling the sheeple and the sleeple because the sheeple and the sleeple have been fooled into thinking that a particular language, a particular image, a particular sound, they have fallen into the illusion that has told them that all you got to do is mimic it, act it out, right? Act it out. Wear the costume. Know the language, right? Go where they go. Speak how they speak. Move how they move. And because so much of the world is easily fooled by illusions and tricksters, these beings who blend in on this path believe that, yeah, they're going to be able to also fool the true chosen seed. But you got a whole nother thing coming, because even if you're able to fool particular people for a period of time, there comes a point in that journey where the truth must be revealed. You might have been able to get a good 100 miles in. But there will come a point in that journey where that spiritual navigation system is going to start acting crazy, and you are going to be exposed as the robot that you are. Because when that thing say left, you're going to turn left. When it say right, you're going to turn right. When it say U-turn, you're going to make a U-turn. You're going to be all over the place with no intuitive knowledge on how to move down this pathway, because you're too reliant on technology. You're too reliant on AI. You're too reliant on the robots, because you don't have a true divine connection to the Most High Mother and Father that gives you a clear receptivity that will let you know directly where you should go, how long you should walk, and when you're going to get there. There's never, ever interference when you have a true connection to the Most High Mother and Father. Those false beings who blend in on the path will begin to glitch. And when they start glitching, you better take note. Take note and move around. Because when they start glitching, that is the point where they are no longer allowed to continue down the path. So what happens when they start glitching is that U-turn kicks in. Now they got to start walking back. And a lot of them get bitter because they look at you, chosen, and you're continuing down the pathway, right? So what do? They might try to clip you up. They might try to grab hold of your garment to see if you can drag them with you. They're going to try to do a whole lot of stuff. They might even lie and say, no, you're the one that's glitching. You're the one that doesn't know anything. You're the one that's wearing the false mask. They're going to start pointing all types of fingers around here in these spiritual streets. But when they start glitching, y'all, pay close attention. It only further emphasizes the lack of connection that they have to the Most High and our spiritual team who is out here definitely never sleeping and always guiding us. They start to lose focus on what the true mission is all about. Because, see, they're so overly consumed with popularity and numbers and money and attention that when they start glitching, they start to show you what's really important to them. This thing is bigger than you. And the true chosen seed are well aware of it. So I had to come on with this message. Like I said, you can be a chosen seed and not be prepared to get on the path. You may just be called in that season or in this period of your life to be the observer, to be the pupil, to be the student. Take note of those chosen seed who have been vulnerable, who have been authentic, who have shown you their journey from the very beginning, who have shown you themselves in their most vulnerable of positions, who have set aside their ego and recognized that this was bigger than them, who have maintained their position as a vessel despite their circumstances. Take note of the journey before you get up and start walking a path